Hi, and welcome back, Copic Craft Room fans. It is Michelle Houghton. I am bringing an image to you today. This was a requested tutorial of looking at how to use colored pencils with Copic markers. This is something that I know Colleen has touched base on and created a video for. This is just another look at that and the way I would do it. I am using this amazing image, and I will put all of its information at the end, like over the top, and then also in the link when I post the video. I am going to use my Copic markers to create a base, and then I'm going to accentuate the look of the image with some color pencils. I'm using very limited color pencil. It's going to give it a little bit more of a mixed media look. Just a different artistic choice. I am using today Prismacolor colored pencils, and those are my personal favorite. It's not that I'm not advertising for them. It's just what I'm using, so you know that that's what I am using. And actually, if you guys like, I'll go ahead and put the color name on, and I think they each have a number as well. When I do the step outs for the coloring, I'll include those. So if you're curious what the actual colors are that I'm using, you can see that. I will not be using any like blenders or Gamasol or any of the solvents to blend those in. I'm just using the colored pencils today for an added texture and surface on top of the Copics. So this is one time I'm actually following the rules and putting my Copic down first. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and today I'm going to do her hair and her skin and her crown. So we'll take a look at those portions of this image. We're going to start with YR31 and fill in the hair. This is pretty standard coloring. I'm going to give her a blonde red hair, some of my favorite colors to use. So I'm filling this in, getting that nice rich base coat. YR14 is next, and I'm flicking in color. I'll go darker around her neck, those underlying layers, but going from the hairline down and then from her shoulders up. YR18 is my next color. Again, focusing those colors darker around the neck and chin. A little bit lighter and spreading those flicks out and shortening them up a little bit as I get into these darker colors. E09 is my last color. It is fairly dark, so again, using it in less amounts. That very tip, keeping my pen very vertical. That's why it's a little hard to see what I'm doing underneath my hand. I'm going back to YR14. I'm doing a little bit broader stroke now. To try to soften some of those edges, I just do one pass, and then YR31 is next to lighten up some of those highlights. YR000 is going to fill in her face. It's also going to clean up some of the edges where my flicks on her hair came over her edge, like her neck and chin. YR01 is going to be some of the shading. My light source is coming in from the left-hand side. So you see the shading to the right of her nose and darker on the right side of her face. YR000 is going to come back in and blend those colors together. I add a little E93 onto the cheek area and onto the cheeks, and then I realize I haven't done the neck at all, so I go back with my YR01 and my YR000 to shade that neck area. Y21 is going to fill in the crown, give me a gold crown on her head. Y23 is next for a little bit of shading. I'm treating it as if it were a cylinder. Typically crowns are, and then I'm hitting some of those corner pieces. Y28 was my darkest shade. Y23 and Y21 to soften, and then moving on to my Prismacolors. This is Tuscan Red. And I'm going in very lightly. I'm actually just flicking exactly like I did with my
with my darker Copic markers. So I'm using the tip just to flick some more strands into her hair. Around her neck and the darker areas, I'm doing some soft shading. So I'm just using real light pressure. On the cheeks, I'm starting with poppy red, and on the lips. Again, I'm just using a super light pressure with my hand. I'm not trying to make these solid. It's really just shading into those areas. Crimson red to finish off those cheeks, and a little bit more color on her lips. Metallic gold is going to go on her crown, and this time I'm working very hard. I'm actually using quite a bit of pressure at that far side and then lightening up as I come across the crown. It's going to give a metallic sheen.
So what I'm hoping you can see, and what you could see happening, it's just another layer, and it's a richening of color. Copic has some of the most amazing, hands down, brilliant color on the market. I think those of us that are fans would all attest to that. I love their color, but it is transparent color. And so by adding a whole nother layer on top of it, we're adding a richness that's hard to achieve. And so I literally only used 4 colors. I used it in a couple different ways. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's a sheen to the gold in particular that adds like a shine, and that's really why I added the gold. It actually has a little bit more of a metallic feel to it with that on top of it. But I hope you could see how that transformed this image. It's a fun technique, and it takes very, very small amounts and a very, very light touch with some really neat, beautiful results. It doesn't take a lot of training or practice because you're working so lightly, and the Copic is that strong base underneath. So when you have that and you're confident with that, adding colored pencils on top and just less is more, add small amounts to start and try some different things. Do your practice image that you're scribbling all over and testing to see what those colors are going to do, and then come back and do one that you're going to keep and love and put on a card or a crafting project. So I hope you'll give this a try, as I really hope you guys realize too that I would love to see your work that you're experimenting with and sharing back with us at Copic in the Craft Room. I'd love to see what you come up with. But have a happy, colorful week.